Hello everyone, I'm Gareth Davies, Chair of the BCCT. I'm very happy to be joined here today by Giorgio Gamba, BCCT Board Director and CEO of HSBC Thailand. With over 2 decades of experience at HSBC across multiple countries, Giorgio brings invaluable insights into global banking and finance. Recently, Giorgio played a key role in signing an MOU between HSBC and the BOI to promote Thailand as Southeast Asia's investment hub. Giorgio is also a strong advocate for investment and trade between Thailand and the UK, which aligns closely with the BCCT's mission. Giorgio, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So HSBC recently signed an MOU with the BOI. Perhaps you could share some insights on this?
Sure. The BOI is there to provide incentives for foreign direct investment in Thailand. The more foreign direct investment that Thailand gets, the better it is for financial institutions like ourselves. We pride ourselves on being the #1 international bank in the market for inbound investments from all corridors, whether it's Europe, the US, intra-ASEAN, or China. And so any efforts that the BOI is doing play to our strengths. So they bring the incentives, and sometimes when a company has chosen to, or is about to choose between various markets in Southeast Asia where it's looking to expand, they will look at the various incentives that the government through the BOI puts forward and decide to make a choice about Thailand. But at that stage, they still need to enter the market. And as you well know, entering any market has its own nuances. One of those nuances is getting the support of financial institutions. And so we wanted to offer the BOI's members, let's say, the opportunity to have a discussion early on in the process with us as they're thinking about investing into Thailand. We make ourselves available to hopefully demystify how market entry works beyond the BOI's own incentive, and then provide them hopefully with the financial support that they need, whether it's transactional banking or financing.
Okay. And how do you see this collaboration of the MOU affecting FDI into Thailand?
Well, because we've signed the MOU, we're not going to see FDI jump by $1 billion a year. But obviously that would be nice. But on the margins, we think that we can make the process easier. I'll give you an example. And the MOU has only really just started, but we were the only bank, not just international bank. We were the only bank that was with the BOI for the opening of their Saudi Arabia office. I think it was in June. That was soon after our MOU was signed. And the point there is the BOI has its own offices that go around looking for potential investors in Thailand and selling our story. Yep. Then there's obviously the embassy. All ambassadors have a responsibility to also kind of try and help identify potential companies that will be interested in investing in Thailand. But then you add on top of that our own client set that we have. So, we have thousands and thousands of RMs and salespeople all over the world who are in constant contact with treasurers and CFOs and CEOs. And we also know when a client is looking to expand outside of their home market. And so I think we can add, perhaps to the efforts of the BOI in identifying at an early stage corporates that might want to invest in Thailand in the future. With the Saudi example, so obviously the embassy and the BOI already had done a great job identifying potential guests for the event. We also then reached out to our client base where we knew that there was interest in Southeast Asian investment and expansion and invited those guys as well. And I think every little helps in a very competitive environment because, our next door neighbors in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines are all doing the same. So we just want to help as much as we can.
Sure. And how can businesses take advantage of this?
Well, businesses can take advantage of this by choosing to invest in Thailand. There is no one solution that we've kind of put forward as part of the MOU. It's really sui generis, right? So a company comes in, for us, we don't bank all companies, as you know. They need to be of a certain size within the sectors that we have a particular, focus on. So we're not going to do everything for everybody. Sure. But once we have that early engagement, we're able to assess and provide the kind of financial partnership that allows companies to thrive in a new market.
That's great. As the British Chamber of Commerce, we obviously have a mix of enterprise companies, members, but the majority of our members are SMEs. How would this affect our SME members?
So as you know, in a market like Thailand, we don't really have an SME business. We only really, bank the top corporates. And now, over the last couple of years, the mid-market enterprises, MMEs, we call them. But what we do have is in our two home markets of Hong Kong and the UK, we do have a very deep SME business. And that means is if we bank you in the UK and you're opening a second office in Thailand, then we can support you because you are an international subsidiary. We call it ISB, International Subsidiary Banking. So if you have an existing relationship with us in the UK and you're an SME and you want to open an office here, then we will look to support you again if you're in the sectors that we are focused on here in Thailand. So there is an opportunity to do so. Unfortunately, SMEs is not something we do in this market. Neither do we do retail banking, unfortunately. Although if you do have $2 million to spare, we have opened a private bank since 2021.
I'm still waiting for Greg to pay me.
Okay,
What cool.
keep on waiting.
Been on the board quite a while now. What first motivated you to be a BCCT director?
I think at HSBC, we are very focused on heritage and tradition. And for us, we've been in this market 135 years, since 1888. Hopefully my maths is working. And I think since 1946, if I'm not mistaken, we were amongst the founding members of the British Chamber. And so for us, it's important that as one of the largest UK companies in this market, the largest UK financial services firm, the largest European bank also, that we are doing as much as we can to support the British community, support trade and investment between Thailand and the UK, which, as I said, is our home market. And so that's the principal motivation. The motivation for me was also to be able to give something back, with the connectivity that we have to the public sector, to officialdom here, to be able to have, provide our members with some insights around the economic environment and various initiatives. So we hope certainly that we're bringing some value to the chamber, even though, as we say, we can't bank all the members.
For sure. I mean, as you know, we have quite a few working groups covering everything from CSR. We have mentoring activities. I know that you've been involved in a few of these. Could you share a little bit more about your involvement?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy mentoring, so I'm an active mentor in HSBC as well. And so when the opportunity came up to also do that here in Thailand through the Chamber's initiative, I put my hand up, and I had a lot of fun last year doing it. I'm waiting to be assigned my new mentee, so looking forward to that. I think at HSBC, we're very focused on two big thematics. One is the digital economy. We have a lot of new economy clients. And the second one is on the ESG side, where, as you well know, HSBC was amongst the first banks to make net zero commitments. We put it out there that we were going to be financing and investing up to $1 trillion by 2030, in supporting the transition. And so we've also had some involvement in sort of ESG group that has been formed, although it didn't make a huge amount of progress, and we need to reboot it, I think, a little bit. But certainly from our perspective, it's something that we spend a lot of time on. I personally do a lot of advocacy on that here in Thailand. I was the only foreigner and the only international bank to be invited to join the Climate Action Leaders Network, which is a really great group. And I think in the 3 years that I've been here, candidly speaking, when we first came and started talking about ESG to our clients, we were and the officials, we were met with kind of quizzical looks. I think the Thai ecosystem had done a great job on digital, not so much on ESG, but I think we've caught up very quickly in the last couple of years, and there's a real commitment to make stuff happen.
So outside of the commitments to British Chamber, what sort of events do you have at HSBC coming up?
Coming up, well, we have lots of events. We're very blessed by having a very large building, which accommodates the opportunity to do lots of events for our clients and also for our prospects. We just did one on digitizing treasury and digital trade, which is an important initiative which also the UK Embassy here in Thailand is heavily focused on, working with the Thai Bankers Association. So that's one thing. Looking into the future, we very much align where we can our own strategy onshore to the national plan, to the Ignite Thailand policy, which we hope will come back. And so we focus on certain sectors that are important to us. I think coming up, there's a deep dive or symposium on healthcare, where we will be bringing together policy leaders and clients and prospects to discuss the challenges in healthcare here, and also showcase how we can support healthcare companies in expanding their business overseas, but also in kind of driving efficiencies here in Thailand. And then I think we have another one on the insurance sector. Again, has a lot of complexity there, and I think some of the stuff that HSBC is doing in support of insurance companies outside of Thailand is a little bit more evolved. And so we want to showcase some of that in an environment where we bring together the whole ecosystem. So again, bringing in regulators, the association body, and practitioners. And there's more to come. So the teams are very busy on making sure that HSBC is seen as the bank in town that is a thought leader across the areas that we find important.
That segues quite nicely into my next question, which is all around sustainable finance.
Really?
What are HSBC's current incentives and initiatives?
Sure. I mean, I spoke of our group commitment for $1 trillion in investments and in financing. We've been active here in Thailand. It started a bit slowly. I'm happy to say that our 2024 target, I'm not going to say what the target is, but it's almost met already, and now we're in mid-August. And not just in Thailand for Thai clients or inbound clients that are active in Thailand, but we also track sustainable financing and investment that we support for Thai corporates outside of Thailand. We've just launched a new product, which is a couple of years ago, we launched our supply chain financing platform in Thailand, which has been a big hit for us. And our trade business is really growing very, very well. And now we've added sustainable supply chain financing to that mix. So same thing as supply chain financing, but if your suppliers, which by the way, often can be SMEs, buy into a big corporate's KPIs on driving sustainability, they will get a preferential borrowing rate from us, right? So that's our attempt to, where possible, be as relevant to the broader ecosystem in Thailand. We often hear that 80% of emissions, a company's emissions, come from their supply chain. And, we're all very focused on the activities of the big Thai corporates, and often questions get asked, but SMEs, where a lot of the economic activity is, don't have the money to invest in the transition. This is hopefully our way to contribute a little bit to making that happen.
And outside of this, what are your strategic priorities for HSBC for the next couple of years?
Sure. I mean, I think I mentioned to you, we think we're the number one international bank for inbound investments. Where perhaps we lost a little bit of focus is on our position being the go-to bank for Thai corporates that are regionalizing and globalizing. Look, don't get me wrong, we're still doing a pretty good job. We bank Thai corporates in an amazing 40 countries out of our 60 markets. And that speaks to Thai corporates' dynamism and success inside Thailand, but also importantly outside of Thailand. But for me, I think anytime a Thai corporate does business outside of Thailand with anybody else, I take it personally, because I do think with our network and our capabilities, we should be the kind of go-to bank of choice. So a lot of work still to be done there for us to consider ourselves number one with clear water between us and the number two. That's the ambition. I think Corridor's focus is huge for us, which is there is a generational opportunity for us to be more relevant to Chinese inbound investment, which, as you know, is now number one here in Thailand and will potentially continue to be so for the next decade or more in sectors that are important to us: EV, renewables, advanced electronics, and so forth. And so really it's about focusing on making sure that we are as relevant as possible to those inbound Chinese investors. There are Chinese banks in the market and they're doing very well, but they haven't been here 135 years. They don't have $750 million plus of capital, and therefore their balance sheets aren't potentially as big as they should be to support all the needs of inbound Chinese corporates that are very hungry to grow and really build out their export businesses out of a accommodative market and a great place to live like Thailand. I would say that I've focused quite a lot on talking about the wholesale banking side. I mentioned our private bank that we launched in 2021. At HSBC, we have a clear ambition of being the largest private bank in Asia. We would probably have been so if it wasn't for a recent merger between two of our competitors. But our ambition remains unchanged. And we have very, very deep relationships with a lot of founders and entrepreneurs all over Asia, including Thailand. Perhaps we haven't done as great a job as positioning ourselves on the private banking side as we have on the wholesale banking side. And so we think there's a lot of opportunity for us to be much more relevant and visible to the ultra high net worth and high net worth segment in Thailand, whether they have wealth onshore or existing wealth offshore. We think HSBC should be the place that they entrust with their hard-earned money.
Is it fair to say that any of the British Chamber members can reach out to you and ask questions and seek advice?
The door is always open.
Good to hear.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to help the Chamber's members as much as I can. And please feel free to come up to me at any event or just send me an email or give me a call.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.